She likes it when ooh, she likes it when I pour tequila, cause she knows that we about to have ourselves a little night. When I do that little Bose speaker and I start dimming those lights, and she knows by the way that I'm kissing on her that we gon' take our time. She likes it when, she likes it when, she likes it when I leave a note, make a reservation, just because that girl's we're celebrating. When I already know what she's thinking, she don't have to say it. Yeah, she likes it when I pour tequila, cause she knows that we about to have ourselves a little night. Play John Denver through that little Bose speaker, and I start dimming those lights. And she knows by the way that I'm kissing on her that we gon' take our time. She likes it when, she likes it when, she likes it when. She likes it when I love it when we she likes it when she likes it when I pour tequila, cause she knows that we about to have ourselves a little night. When I play John Denver through that little speaker and I start dimming those lights, and she knows by the way that I'm kissing on her that we gon' take our time. She likes it when, she likes it when she likes it when
Nah, I couldn't show you around. No city outside this town. Ain't much for the cocktail crowd. I've been there, I got kicked out. I ain't got no stock in the just these 6 drinks to impress you. Yeah, there's a whole lot I don't, but I know what I know. And a good beer is a good one. If you got green, better roll one. And the right drive is a slow one. Down the back road, baby, I know that the whole town's for the whole team. Better hold down in the jeans. And I'm damn sure that the day's done with a good beer. And a good beer is a cold one. And a good beer tastes better on a Friday night. Feels different under neon lights. Long as it's been sitting on ice, there ain't a time that it don't hit right. If you're drinking to forget her or drinking to remember, well, there's a whole lot I don't, but I know what I know. And a good beer is a cold one. If you got green, better roll one. And the right drive is a slow one. Down the back road, baby, I know that the whole town's for the whole team. Better hold down in the jeans. And I'm damn sure that the day's done with a good beer. And a good beer is a cold one. It's a good beer, baby. Yeah, if that mountain's glowing, then I'ma crack it open. Cause a good beer is a cold one. If you green, better roll one. And the right drive is a slow one. Down the back road, baby, I know that the whole town's for the home team. Better hold down in those jeans. And I'm damn sure you say hello. Every touch is like the strongest drug. I don't know how much longer I can go. I never had something that I can't walk away from. Well, girl, my self-control paralyzed. When it comes to you, no, I ain't no patience. Something about you, girl, I just can't find. You're like that cigarette that shines 100 proof. No matter how much I get, I'm always craving that feeling when we kiss. The way your body moves. No matter how much I get, I'm always craving you. Craving you. All the in-between is killing me. You know I come unglued from missing you. So every time I'm hello, it's drunk.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Good afternoon. We are starting our dairy show. In the ring, we have junior yearlings, 12 to 17 months, shown by Kira Conine, and junior calf, 4 to 7 months, also Kira Conine. I apologize. We also have senior calf, or what, 8 to 11 months, evidence by apology.
like a dog to Friday. Punch that clock and cash that check. Raise a little hell to Sunday. About that time. There's a party back in the woods now. Heard it.
Three in the dairy show, but I think three very high quality individuals nonetheless. We're going to start talking individually, then I'll get you a champion and reserve overall in the dairy show. We started in the unregistered division, kind of a bigger heifer there, T-like in terms of the length of body and scale. I think she's probably as flexible as any in terms of her lower trunk work. Maybe I want to see her just pull ahead a little bit smoother up front. Maybe you'll see her a little bit longer from hook to pins, but I think a female that's got a lot of quality to it. We're talking about, look at the younger heifer calf there, and that thing is really, really high quality. I think that one, just in terms of a blend, just a sound, very functional, flexible skeleton, in tandem with the fact that she's very, very feminine in terms of her build. Just a little bit smaller, but I think her future is very, very bright. Very, very small and into her neck, very smooth in terms of how her shoulder blade lays into her body wall. The female, I think, it brings forth a tremendous amount of quality, a tremendous amount of upside in terms of the potential in the future. A really big heifer comes in next in there, another single entry there. Again, obviously, she's got kind of the advantage in terms of size and scale. Today, I think she maybe wants to throw her front feet out just a little bit. Set them in motion. I don't know if she's maybe quite as secure in terms of her anchor and faster travel relative to that younger calf. But I think she brings forth a lot of quality as well. Stepping back, I'm going to talk about this two registered, replace this two registered ones first, and get you an overall. I guess for me, I thought the younger heifer calf just brought forth a little bit extra quality in terms of her femininity and angularity. We're going to use her to be champion out of that particular drive. Use the yearling to be reserved. We're also going to follow it up with the same order to be grand and reserve overall dairy as well. Congratulations to all these exhibitors.
I saw you going by, I had to say hello. And I don't mean to pry, but girl, I gotta know what is your name. How come I ain't seen you around before? So, you ain't never had a type, having a type takes two. But I know what I like, and the only one to do is something else. And I know we just met, but I wanna introduce you to my kinfolks, to my old friends, to the house in the pines where the road ends. Take you to my hometown, where I grew up, where I thought I knew it all before I knew what love was. You got my hopes up, and I'm thinking that I wanna introduce you to my kinfolks. I wanna take you home now, just take you home tonight. Get Joni on the phone, chill, leave us on the light. I wanna see the way you look.
Your champion grade C calf goes to Holly King from 56 Ranchers 4-H. Your champion registered dairy calf goes to Kiara Conine, 56 Ranchers 4-H. Your reserve junior year is the junior yearling, shown by Kiara Conine, 56 Ranchers 4-H. Your best in show dairy heifer is Kiara Conine, 56 Ranchers 4-H. And your reserve best in show is Kiara Conine, 56 Ranchers 4-H. We will now be moving into the dairy showmanship with entries from Holly King and Kiara Conine.
I don't wanna wait around to the house in the pines where the road ends. Take you to my hometown where I grew up, where I thought I knew it all before I knew what love was. Gave up on it, but honey, you got my hopes up, and I'm thinking that I wanna introduce you to my kinfolk. That little bringing, buzzing, good for nothing phone in your hand. The directions to the party that's just started with that cover band. That old school radio station, let's just drive until it's faded. Girl, let's lose it tonight.
Back in dairy showmanship, I think both these young ladies are doing a very, very high quality job. I went and asked them questions about what they would change about their heifers, and they both answered them very, very eloquently and very accurate using correct terminology. So that was a very positive sign from my perspective. I guess they're forced to choose when they got out here. I think one of these young ladies just did a little bit more consistent job during the show. We just and in showmanship at getting their heifers to walk just a little bit quicker with a little bit better cadence in my estimation. And I think also once we got them set up, I think she was a little bit more accurate as far as leg placement and getting them on the right spot. That's the young lady in the front. She'll be my champion showman. Young lady in the back will be reserved. Congratulations to you both.
Pins holding your hair up, girl, you don't need them no more. That dress hanging off your shoulder as you move a little closer. Yeah, let's lose it tonight.
The results for dairy showmanship are Kiara Conine, 56 Ranchers 4-H in first place. Holly King, 56 Ranchers 4-H in second place. Congratulations.
When you do that thing right there, flipping your hair, baby, I swear.
Minute break to get everybody ready. We'll start market beef at 2:30. I apologize. Eating beef.
I got some new best friends forever. night. Gonna feel this in the morning. Ooh, 'cause I'm going hard tonight.
Attention in the beef barn. If I could please get class 1 ready ringside of our breeding beef and class 2 ringside breeding beef.
We're in the back.
as an individual, that heifer is still very, very nice. She's flexible. She's long-bodied. She's got some bone and foot size working underneath her. Obviously, she's skinny and young, as she should be at this age, right? But I think as time goes on, she's going to continue to kind of belly down and soften in terms of her body shape and continue to look even better. But again, a very good way to start the breeding beef show. Let's put our hands together and congratulate this young lady.
Congratulations to Kira Conine with her first, her single entry calf, age 3 to 6 months. We're going to move into our senior calf, age 12 months, with Karsten Wagner from East County Grange and Maya Contreras from Ramona Paisanos 4-H.
A nice pair of heifers here and kind of different in terms of their kind and maturity just a little bit. I'm going to land on the young lady's heifer here on my left to be our class winner. I like that one a lot just in terms of her body cavity, the way she's built front in terms of her shoulder angle and the way her neck sets on top of her shoulder. I still think she's just very maternal in terms of her kind. If I'm going to get just a little critical on her, I want to see her just a little bit wider out of her hip. And the big thing is as she sets into motion, she's not quite as soft and comfortable and correct in terms of her pastern angle. She's not quite as flexible at the surface compared to the ideal. But man, the front 2/3 of that one's body are off the charts. Really, really like that one. I'd like this heifer in second a great deal as well. I think that's still a rugged, big-footed kind of a female that if you study her coming and going, I think she's got some genuine base width and squareness to her. You study her in terms of the way her rib cage is built. She actually drops out of her spine with the nickel more just outward curvature to her upper rib cage, relative even back to our class winner. At the same time, she's maybe not quite as soft and mature in terms of her forerib and flank. I want to see her just a little bit fuller in that regard. Then from the profile too, she could be cleaned up just a smidgen in terms of her chest and navel. I think that'd make her look just a nickel better from the side as well. Again, a very, very good class. Let's put our hands together and congratulate both those exhibitors.
Congratulations to Karsten Wagner, East County Grange in first place. Maya Contreras, Ramona Paisanos 4-H in second place.
Now entering the ring is junior yearlings 13 to 18 months, exhibited by Tatanka Audibert from Ramona FFA.
Another good single entry, and it looks like kind of a Charlet influenced rig there, and one that you really like in terms of her body. She's real bold and opened up and maternal in terms of her body cavity and the maternal sweep she has back into her flank. I think as you study her from behind, you can really appreciate some things about her as well. She's got a tremendous amount of natural thickness and dimension working down her top line and from behind. I think she's big-footed. I think she's wide-based. I love those things about her. If I'm going to get a little bit critical, I think, she's probably pushing the envelope just a little bit from a condition standpoint. She wants to get a little bit deeper, a little bit more waisty about the base of her chest and brisket. We can maybe tidy her up ever so through her dewlap and throat latch as well. I think that'd make her look just a little bit sharper from the profile. The other thing I want to change is as you set her in motion, you study her hip and hind leg design. She's a nickel shorter and rounder from hooks to pins. As a result, when you set her in motion, she maybe not quite as flexible and doesn't maybe cover her track quite as readily as much as I'd like her to. But man, I think there's a lot of things to appreciate about her in terms of her base width, bone, and natural thickness. Doing a really good job getting this one shown, young man. Let's put our hands together and congratulate him.
Thanks, sir.
Congratulations to Tonka Adabert from Rorona FFA.
Then the ring is senior yearlings 19 months and older. We have a single entry exhibited by Kira Conine from 56 Ranchers 4-H.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Tailgate Country Podcast. It's Hunter, and this week I'm joined from Nashville by emerging songwriter and country artist, Miss Penny Whitmire.
I think you really have to appreciate the basic build of this 2-year-old coming to, I guess, in the arena right now. I think that heifer is one you like at the surface a great deal. She's big, she's square, and she's even in terms of her foot size and shape. I think more importantly, perhaps even above that, she's really relaxed in terms of the angle of her pastern. I think that kind of sets the foundation or serves as a shock absorber, if you will, for her skeleton and how much mass that she is carrying today. Obviously, she's really big bodied. She's got a tremendous amount of dimension. I want to kind of lean her up just a little bit. She's kind of pushing a little bit too much fat for me, base of her chest. She wants to get kind of pwned up there from behind. We got to a little bit leaner for me compared to the ideal, but I love her basic build. My compliments to the exhibitor.
Congratulations to Kiara Conine from 56 Ranchers 4-H.
We need our first and second place animals to the ringside. Kira Conine, Tatanka Adibert, Kirsten Wagner, Maya Contreras, and then Kira Conine. We are going to be doing the selection of our champion beef female.
We get all these class winners back out here for the overall champion heifer drive, and I think you got to be happy with the quality you have represented. Obviously, the numbers weren't massive today, but I think the quality bar was still set at a pretty relatively high rate, and I think that's something to be commended and appreciated from your breeders and you guys around here bringing in good stock, and it makes it fun to look at and fun to sort through from my perspective. We started in class 1, and we found that one that was obviously really young, and it's got a lot of potential ahead of her. You study her basic build, her feet and legs, study like she's going to be very flexible. Like I said, as time goes on, she's going to continue to get bolder and more massive and kind of belly down, and I think could be a very, very high quality show prospect one day. The one that come out of that second class of 2, I thought that one was really, really nice from the side, especially. Whose head, neck, and shoulder all fit together very neatly. She's well designed. She's still bold and soft and maternal in terms of her body and sweep to her rear rib and flank. I think as you said, her emotion, her front skeleton is very, very good. I want to tweak her hind skeleton just a nickel. I think she wants to get just a little bit more rigid and upright in terms of the angle of her pastern. If she's just a little bit more flexible there, I think she wins it going away. I think because of that, you got to step back and it's kind of positives and negatives. I absolutely still think she's in the hunt because she brings forth a tremendous amount of quality. We saw that third class, that Charlotte influenced heifer that really brings forth some of those breed strengths, I guess, if you will. I probably wouldn't anticipate she is a purebred, but she brings forth some bones, some width, some body, some power, some substance that Charlotte breed is known for. And obviously she's a composite, but I think that's cool to appreciate about her. At the same time, I want to make her a little bit from a skeletal standpoint. I think she maybe wants to get a fraction more upright in the angle of her shoulder blade. She wants to buck over just a nickel in her past her up front. Then from behind, she wants to get a fraction shorter and round her out of her upper hip. You set her in motion. She's a little bit shorter stepping, just not quite as comfortable or agile compared to maybe some other ones out here. But man, if you get in behind the cattle, that is easily the widest, most genuine in terms of width and natural size. The one that comes out of that big class, the big single entry there, obviously really, really build body, got a tremendous amount of dimension as well. At the surface, you really appreciate her in terms of her footwork, the shape to her feet, the angle she has to her pasterns and joint work, all set the foundation for a very flexible skeleton whenever that one sets in motion. Like I talked about in class, though, you start kind of peeling some of the white muscle off that one. You kind of got to ask yourself what exactly is there, because she's kind of pushing the envelope for me. I think, she eats everything she looks at. She's got a diet like myself, or B, she's incredibly efficient, because I think that one is kind of out there a little bit in terms of fat for me. Ironically enough, or kind of a cool feature that I learned out here, the calf out of that first class is actually the calf of this heavyweight, or this 2-year-old that we just talked about. And it's good to see her back in really good flesh. But for me, that's kind of a drawback. So there's things that I want to change about all of them, but there's things that I appreciate about every single one of them as well. I guess to me, the one that put together the most positive pieces is the one that took a really nice picture from the side in terms of her head, neck, and shoulder. I'll live with her hind skeleton. I'll use that heifer out of class 2 to be champion. Congratulations. We're not going to bring in that second place heifer out of that class 2, but I'll talk about that one briefly again. That second place heifer in that class was one that probably just had a little bit more base width, a little bit more boldness to its upper rib cage. At the same time, maybe wasn't quite as soft and deep in terms of her forerib and flank. I think her chest and navel needed to be cleaned up just a nickel as well. But I think we're going to go a different way out here for reserve. I think there's another heifer that's got just so much mass, so much dimension. And even though she's pushing the envelope from a condition standpoint, I still think she's proportional enough for me. We're going to use this big heifer, make it a big lap here to be reserved. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Karsten Wagner from East County Grange on champion female, and Kiara Conine from 56 Ranchers 4-H, reserve champion female.
even when I'm
Oh, tremendous young bull prospect comes to us in the single entry deal, and by default, that makes him the champion bull in this whole show. I think as you start studying him, he's got some huge pieces. He's really neat necked. He's really sharp looking from the side. His hip and hind leg from the profile are very aesthetically pleasing and yet still functional. I think that's a bull that as you study him kind of down his top line, I think he reads like he's going to continue to mass up and bulk up. Maybe today, obviously, he's a little bit skinnier skinnier and younger, maybe you want to see him just a nickel further along in terms of his heart and forehead. That's being awfully critical in a young bull. I think he's got a big future ahead of him. That being said, let's go ahead and congratulate that young man. I think we're going to keep him stay put and then bring those heifers back in for champion overall.
We're going to do our overall selection of best in show and reserve best in show. The bull calf will stay in, and congratulations to Kiara Conine from 56 Ranchers 4-H on your champion junior bull calf, aged 3 to 6 months. Entering the ring is our champion female, owned by Karsten Wagner of East County Grange, and our reserve champion female, owned by Kiara Conine of 56 Ranchers 4-H. We'll begin the selection of our best in show and reserve best in show.
We bring the champion bull and then the champion and reserve heifer back in here for the best of show for the breeding division. And I think you start kind of looking at him. We just talked about that bull calf. We really like the prospect look that he has. I think he's going to be really good one day. Just for me, he's just a little bit early on in his career to go ahead and use him. I guess for me, these heifers just suit me a little bit better in terms of this one's look and presence and balance and body from his side. Like we talked about, she could be just a little bit wider out of her upper hip. She could be a little bit more flexible in terms of that pastern. I know I mentioned that a couple times now, and it's really not that bad. It's just I'm kind of a structure freak to some degree, so I want to get them as close to perfect as we can in terms of their feet and legs. That's extremely important for functional cattle in the real world. This heifer over here that we had for reserve, man, we really liked her foundation. Again, her feet and legs were very functional, very flexible. She's got a tremendous amount of dimension. She's already producing high quality cattle, it looks like, and obviously today I would anticipate maybe she's even getting for something like that just in terms of where she's at from a condition standpoint. But I think that one's got a bright future again in production. So I think that one's real good as well. Like I talked about, I want to see that one later. At the end of the day, I think these heifers are just a little bit more advanced. I feel more comfortable using those two for champion and reserve. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Karsten Wagner in Best in Show from East County Grange. And your best in show and your reserve best in show was Kiara Conine from 56 Ranchers 4-H. Congratulations.
We are starting our market beef show. Class 1, Shayla Haggerty, 56 Ranchers 4-H. Forrest Sisson, Santa Isabel Julian 4-H. And Chloe Hawkins from Ramona FFA. Animals weighing 900 to 1,075 pounds.
We can go 400 miles before we stop for gas. We could drive for a day, and then we'll take a
A nice way to start the market steer show, and they're placed from my left to right. We're going to use this big white steer to go ahead and win. And I'll just be honest with you. Out of all three of these, maybe not all of them, maybe suit my fancy. If we could kind of fit some of them all together, we'd make the perfect show steer, if you will. For me, I'm not going to tell you that he's the heaviest muscle, because he's not. But what he is he's still acceptable enough in terms of his degree of muscularity, and he is easily the squarest in terms of his structure and the most flexible in his skeleton. He's deep-bodied, he's deep-hearted, he's got some shape to his center body and full rib. I think he's got enough muscle. And I'm not going to tell you that's a house calf, because he's not. But for me, I think he's got enough, and it's his soundness of structure and his squareness of build and growth and length and his extra weight per day of age that gets him in that first spot. The one that comes in second, it kind of is somewhat of a similar story. That's a calf that you appreciate, that bold-bodied, easy-feeding look. He's real deep to the center portion of his rib cage. He's real level design from the side. Where I get critical on him is from behind. He wants to get pretty flat and more nondescript over. He's real level design from the side. Where I get critical on him is from behind. He wants to get pretty flat and more nondescript over his rib and loin. He gets a little bit narrower out of his upper hip and flatter to the base of his stifle. And that calf just needs more muscle for me. He needs more base width. He needs more stoutness. The problem child in the class for me is this one in third. And young lady, I'm certainly not picking on you because I think that calf has got the ES the class. He is the biggest backed. He is the biggest ended. He is the biggest haired, the best looking in terms of his neck from the standstill. And when we get him in motion, he's a little bit smaller. I'm just not real fond of his structure. He wants to kind of bow those hocks a little bit too much for me. He wants to get a little too straight in terms of his shoulder and buck over a little bit. If we could fix his moving, he wins the class by a mile. Just for me, his skeleton's not quite good enough. Again, a very good class. A nice way to start. Let's congratulate all those kids.
Congratulations to Forrest Sissons, Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, first place. Chloe Mae Hawkins, Ramona FFA, second place. And Shayla Haggerty of 56 Ranchers 4-H, third place. Next in the ring, we have Liam Wolf, Ramona Wranglers 4-H, Jennifer Parker from Ramona FFA, Mason Stanley from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, and Holly King from 56 Ranchers 4-H. Calves weighing from 1148 to 1206.
He had a car. I was caught somewhere between a woman and a child. One restless summer we found love growing wild on the banks of the river on a well-beaten path. It's funny how those memories they last like strawberry wine. 17, the hot July moon. Saw everything, my first taste of love. Oh, bittersweet, green on the vine, like strawberry wine. I still remember when 30 was old. My biggest fear was September, when he had to go. A few cards and letters and one long distance call. We drifted away like the leaves in the fall. Year after year I come back to this place just to remember the taste of strawberry wine. 17, the hot July moon. Saw everything, my first taste of love. Oh, bittersweet, the green on the vine, like strawberry wine. The fields have grown old. the tide hasn't turned. Is it really him or the loss of my innocence? I've been missing so much.
Oh, a nice second class here, and the young man's black steer over there with a white underline is going to be the class winner. And for me, easily the boldest bodied, the widest built calf. It's still got muscle, and I think when you set him in motion, he's still sound enough. I think compared to some of these other cattle in here, he's got more muscle, he's got more hip dimension, he's got more shape to his stifle and quarter than the steer in second. He's sounder structured and leveler design than the calf in third. He's got more muscle than one in fourth, and for those reasons, he kind of collectively comes and wins pretty easy for me. One that comes in second, you set him in motion, especially from the side. There's some things that you can appreciate about that guy. Starting at the ground, he's good-footed. He's very, very flexible. I love his structure and his soundness, a skeleton. Again, he's very long-bodied and level. As you get in behind him, he get a little bit more critical. He gets a shot narrower and flatter out of his upper hip. He could use a little bit more dimension right there to the seat of his britches to get him any higher for me today. But, man, I love his easy feeding, mellow handling, kind of a look and build. There's a lot of things to appreciate about him. I think there's a nickel more muscle. I think there's a little bit more stoutness from this view in this calf in third. He's bigger hipped. He handles a little bit more square, fresh muscle shape out of the backside of his blade over his rib and over his loin. As you set him in motion, that's where I get a little bit leery on him. I think he wants to kind of get a little bit choppier moving and get tighter and higher up in his spine. We can level him out and make him a little bit more athletic. I can move him higher in the class and potentially even win. Young man's got a tall drink of water here in fourth, and that big black calf is long-bodied, really, really tall, really, really extended. And that almost works to his detriment just a little bit. I want to see him a little bit more conservative in terms of his frame size, give him a shot more base width, a shot more muscularity all the way throughout to make him a little bit more competitive for me. Again, a good lineup. Let's put our hands together and congratulate those kiddos.
Congratulations to Mason Stanley of Santa Isabel Julian 4-H in first place. Holly King, 56 Ranchers 4-H in second place. Jennifer Parker from Ramona FFA in third place. And Liam Wolf from Ramona Wranglers 4-H in fourth place. Now entering the ring is Natalie Nasco from Ramona FFA, Blake Sheppy from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, Jennifer Parker from Ramona FFA, and Ty Edmonston from Ramona FFA with calves weighing 1215 to 1220.
young lady brings us black steer, and I think he wins it hands down, in my opinion. He's the boldest bodied. He is the widest constructed. He is the most muscular. And I think for me, he's still acceptable enough in terms of his structural correctness. And then from the profile, it's where he really kind of stamps his seal of domination in this lineup for me, because of his neck, because of his look, because of his balance symmetry from the profile. Calf that comes in next isn't a bad one by any means. That's still a deep, bold body calf that's got some muscularity and some stoutness down his top and from behind. For me, just a little bit plainer in terms of shape. He doesn't have the near expression or dimension specifically out of the back of his shoulder, over his rib, and over his loin edge compared back to our recliner. Also from the profile, I think it's a calf who wants to get just a little bit more upright in terms of his shoulder angle. I want to kind of lay him back and see him more correct and flexible up front from a structural integrity standpoint. But the young man did a very good job getting that one shown. One that came in, I thought had some quality as well. I think that black calf, I think still compared back to this red steer, is maybe a little bit more correct in terms of his shoulder angle, a little bit more flexible and agile as we set him around the surface and here set him in motion. As you get in behind him especially is where I get a little bit more leery. Compared to those two cattle ahead of him, he gets plainer out of his upper hip, a little bit flatter through his outer stifle and the base of his quarter there. And that's why he winds up in third. Another big calf comes in fourth there, big, long-bodied. I think that one needs to be a little bit more moderate in terms of his frame, a little bit wider constructed in terms of his skeleton. But I like his extra weight per day of age. I like his extra growth. For me, in a show setting, though, I want to see him just a nickel more conservative in that respect, a little bit stouter to move in here. Again, a good class winner. Put our hands together and congratulate all those kids.
Congratulations to Jennifer Parker from Ramona FFA in first place, Blake Sheppy from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H in second place, Natalie Nasco from Ramona FFA in third place, and Ty Edmonston from Ramona FFA in fourth. Now entering the ring is Morgan Nelson from Ramona FFA, Wyatt Simons from Ramona FFA, Sam Edmonston from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, Mac Moretti, Ramona FFA, and Cameron Martineau, Ramona Wranglers 4-H, calves weighing 1240 to 1290.
Two young people without a thing, say some vows, spread their wings, settle down, just what they need, living on love. She don't care like what's in style, she just likes the way he smiles. It takes more than marble and tile, living on love. Living on love, buying on time. Without somebody, nothing ain't worth a dime. Just like an old-fashioned storybook of rhyme. Living on love. It sounds simple, that's what you're thinking. But love can walk through fire without blinking. It doesn't take much when you get enough. Living on love. gotta do is give me that wing.
I think to this point, this easily one of the best bovine to be in the ring in my estimation today. Real big-footed, really rugged and stout in terms of his build. The boldest bodied calf I think we've seen all day. Huge backed, huge hipped, huge ended. We set him in motion. I still think he's athletic enough in terms of his skeleton, and I'm going to call him proportional from the side. I'm not going to tell you he's just the sharpest looking, most chiseled jawed thing we've ever seen, but I think he's still very proportional, especially considering how much extra width and stoutness he has there. Another thing, I don't think it certainly takes away from him just in terms of his what he is, but I do wish he has a little bit longer tail. I think that kind of complete his look from the side just a little bit better for me. But again, that's a real powerhouse right there. One that came second in this lineup, I think you could almost make an argument that one's a little bit leaner, maybe a fraction better in terms of its balance and length of body from the side. But at the same time, you get him behind this deer, he just gets a little bit too plain for me in terms of his muscle dimension relative to that extra stout one we had to win this deal. I like his hip and hind leg design. For me, I want to see him a little bit smoother about the point of his shoulder as well. It gets really competitive between 3 and 4. And this is the slot that I went back and forth with in my mind. I got him behind the cattle one more time. I think that this steer ahead of me has just got a little bit more pride, a little bit more width to his entire skeleton. That sets the foundation for a little bit more muscle shape and dimension over the loin edge, and especially out of the backside of his shoulder there. He's considerably squarer and more expressive through his muscle pattern. I think this steer actually fixes him structurally. I think this one's actually more correct in terms of its shoulder angle, more flexible in terms of its hip and hind leg design. I like its extra depth of body, its extra soft, easy feeding look. I got just a little bit too disappointed when I got my hands on him, just a little bit too plain behind his shoulder, a little bit more nondescript over his loin edge. If this steer had this steer's muscle, that one may even get up into second, may be competitive in this whole lineup. Red steer comes in next, and I like that red steer's length of body. He gets a little bit too tight in his rib and his structure. He gets a little flatter about the base of his forehead. He's too tight in his flank. You set him in motion. He wants to get kind of posty, a little bit choppier about it. A step out of his rear skeleton. Got to fix those things to get him any higher. Again, a very good lineup. Let's give these kids a round of applause as they exit the arena.
Congratulations to Cameron Martineau, Ramona Wranglers 4-H in first place. Wyatt Simons from Ramona FFA in second place. Mac Moretti, Ramona FFA in third place. Morgan Nelson, Ramona FFA in fourth place. And Sam Edmonston, Santa Isabel Julian 4-H in fifth place. Now entering the ring is Class 6. Hattie Ingolstad from Ramona FFA. Haley Simons, Ramona FFA. Cody Sheppy, Ramona FFA. Cameron Martineau, Ramona Wranglers 4-H. Delaney Quantrell, Ramona Wranglers 4-H. And Danny Bagalini from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H. Calves weighing 12.98 to 13.20. Oh, I apologize. That was class 5.
There's someone for each of us, they say. Well, I ain't first class, but I ain't white trash. Wild and a little crazy too. Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do. Well, I ain't first class, but I ain't white trash. I'm wild and a little crazy too. Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do. I said some girls do. You know some girls do.
A good class, and I think it's kind of an interesting dynamic. I think the class kind of comes to us in pairs. I think the first two cattle are completely different in terms of their kind and their build, and I'll be the first to tell you that they're way, way different. But the one that I land on, I says has enough muscle, and with that, that one is easily the best structured, the best balanced, the squarest built, and he still has enough. Like I said, now is he's quite as square right behind his shoulder? Is he as big out of his upper hip? Is he as dimensional about the base of his quarter compared to the ideal? No. None of those things are probably true, but I think his look, his soundness, his structure are all very, very good. And I think he has enough, and he blends that with such a good build and look. That's why he needs to win for me. The red calf comes in next, and that one hit me hard whenever he walked in. He hit me hard just in terms of his feature, his bone, his base width, his body, his bulk are all off the charts. Huge backed, huge ended. Again, very, very big footed and heavy structured. We kind of stopped and got him parked a couple times, and he kind of wanted to throw his shoulders out, looked a little bit more like a dog out here. He got a little bit coarser in terms of his hock there, way, way too open in terms of his point of his shoulder. If we kind of fix his skeleton, bring his shoulder back together, make him just a little bit more flexible, I think he wins the class going away. Just for me, I just couldn't quite get over his structure, and that's why I wound up in second. I think, again, it was close between 3 and 4. For me, when I got on top of him, I got my hands on him. Thought the steer in second handled considerably more aggressive and with more muscle shape right behind his shoulder. He's way more dimensional over his loin as well. I think both these cattle need to be bigger out of their upper hip. I just think today this one's got more muscle. Now, is he as good structured as a calf in fourth? No, and that's why I think that is a pair. The calf in fourth, I think, is just a little bit sounder structured, a little bit more flexible. Is he that in terms of his structure? No. I think he too, like the one that came in second, wants to get kind of coarser and more open about his shoulder, and disappointingly enough, right behind his shoulder, he wanted to get really, really flat and nondescript for his muscle for me. I like his belly. I still think he's flexible enough. He's just got to have more muscle and expression, specifically out of the back of his shoulder. One that comes in next, I like that one's extension. Young man does a good job getting presented, bold-bodied. I think that one needs to be a little bit bigger out of its upper hip, a little bit more dimensional throughout. A big red calf comes in next, long body. That one gets a little bit tighter in terms of its rib and structure for me. And then you get in behind it. That one too also gets a little bit too flat through his hip, his quarter, and his stifle, and that's why he winds up where he does. Again, a very, very good class, a really good top pair. Let's congratulate all those exhibitors.
Congratulations to Haley Simons, Ramona FFA in first place. Cameron Martineau, Ramona Wranglers 4-H in second place. Hattie Ingolstad, Ramona FFA in third place. Danny Bagalini from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H. B from Ramona FFA in fifth place. And Delaney Quantrell from Ramona Wranglers 4-H in sixth place. Now entering the ring is the last market class. We have Jacob Parker from Ramona FFA, Matthew Parker from Ramona FFA, Peyton Scott from Ramona 4-H, Tatanka Adalbert from Ramona FFA, Matthew Parker, Ramona FFA, and Tatum Stanley from Ramona FFA. We have calves weighing 1342 to 1460.
Let's bring him around over here. I'll bring Kettle over here. Young lady with that smoky steer in the corner over there is the class winner and wins pretty easy for me. Easily the most muscular, the widest, the stoutest, the boldest. And I still think from the side that's a cat that proportions up and gives you a very balanced look. He's not perfect from a skeletal standpoint, but he still gets pretty close to covering his track and stays level in his top. He needs to win and win pretty quickly. The real debate in my mind and why I walked him and worked him again a couple times was between second and third. I think those two are interchangeable. For me, the calf in second is just a little bit bolder, a little bit more square in terms of the muscle shape that he handles out of the backside of his shoulder. From the side, I think he's a little bit sharper looking up front too. He's a little bit neater and thinner about his neck. I think his chest is up in him just a smidgen better. He comes back even leveler and square out of his upper hip. That calf's got a big pin set in him as well. I like a lot of things about him. Relative back to our class winner, though, he maybe just wants to get outpowered ever so slightly. Maybe doesn't come with the extra bells and whistles in terms of stoutness or extra look like our class winner. That's why he winds up in second. Like I said, second and third was tough, and I think you could almost use this calf right here to come next because I think that one is very, very bold-bodied. I think that one's got a big square hip in him as well. Very square from his pin bone to his hock to the ground. Congratulations, young lady. As we get off from the side of that one, though, the reason that one came in third, he gets a little bit thicker, a little bit maybe not as neat looking or aesthetically pleasing through his neck and chest and front end. And I think from behind, maybe you want to see him a little bit more comfortable in his pasterns as well. I think these next three are all really nice cattle as well. Extended, good growing kind of critters here that got some body shape and some length of body. With that, though, I think all three of them need to be just a little bit more muscular to be a shot more competitive. I do think this calf is bigger hipped and bigger topped than the other two, and that's why he came in fourth there. Kind of the darker red calf here is one you like in terms of his depth of heart, his depth of center body is very good. From behind, that calf really wanted to kind of get a little bit more peaked and narrower out of his upper hip. He gets pretty shallow twisted as well. That's why he wound up in fifth. Big Hereford Mark cattle comes in next, and a real long bodied, real big bellied. That one's just got to have more muscle for me. He got a little bit more disappointing over his rib. Needs to be a little bit bigger out of his upper hip. That's why he rounds out our top six there. Again, a very good lineup, a real good class winner. Let's congratulate those kids.
We'll begin showmanship at 3:50. Congratulations to Peyton Scott from Ramona Wranglers 4-H in first place. Tatanka Adebert from Ramona FFA in second place. Tatum Stanley from Ramona FFA in third place. Matthew Parker in fourth place from Ramona FFA. And also Matthew Parker, Ramona FFA in fifth place. And Jacob Parker from Ramona FFA in sixth place. And that concludes our Market Beef Show. And again, we will start showmanship, senior showmanship beginning at 3:50. We are going to begin with our beef showmanship. We're going to start with our senior group. Entering the ring now is Cody Sheppy of Ramona FFA, Danny Bagalini, Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, Holly King, 56 Ranchers 4-H, Matthew Parker from Ramona FFA, Morgan Nelson from Ramona FFA, Natalie Nasco, Ramona FFA, and Ty Edmonston, Ramona FFA.
As the waltzes o'er the leaves, been rushing through my
Coming back from Heat 2 will be Forrest Sissons, Karsten Wagner, Kiara Conine, and Tatanka Adabert. Right. Now entering the ring is Heat 3 of Senior Showmanship. We have Delaney Quantrell from Ramona Wranglers 4-H, Haley Simons from Ramona FFA, Jennifer Parker from Ramona FFA, Mac Moretti, Ramona FFA, Shayla Haggerty, 56 Ranchers 4-H, and Tatum Stanley from Ramona FFA.
Wild birds they warble with a low morning sound. Way down in a hollow where the river runs cold. It was there I first listened to the lies that you told. Now I lie on my back and I see your sweet face. The past I remember, time can't erase. And the letters you wrote me, they were written in shame. And I know that your conscience still echoes my name. Now if the ladies were blackbirds, if the ladies were chilly cold marshes than if the women were squirrels with them high bushy tails. Well, I've loaded up my shotgun with rock salt and nails. I'd load up my shotgun.
We're going to keep two out of the final heat of senior showmanship on the steer show. These two kiddos, in my mind, did the best job of doing the fundamentals right. I talked to each one of these four about things that I like and maybe didn't like about the way they get it done. And again, it's one guy's opinion on one day. If they're doing exactly what they're told, who am I to tell them to change anything? But just my 2 cents, and hopefully it serves you well going forward. Wish all you the best of luck. Put your hands together and congratulate them for their efforts.
You can go to hell, my dear. Probably like better there.
Coming back for the final round will be Haley Simons from Ramona FFA and Jennifer Parker from Ramona FFA. We'll let these girls circle around. We will begin our senior showmanship drive.
How we gonna make it to higher ground if you won't get up and leave?
Entering the ring will be the senior showmanship drive. Coming back from class 1 was Matthew Parker from Ramona FFA, Morgan Nelson, Ramona FFA, Forrest Sissons, Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, Karsten Wagner, East County Grange, Kira Conine, 56 Ranchers 4-H, Tatonka Audibert from Ramona FFA, Haley Simons, and Jennifer Parker, both from Ramona FFA.
I reckon if I chose to stay, it'd be better for a few more days. But in the end, it always rains, and honey, you can cause a storm. But I'm tired and soaking wet and hunkered over trying to catch my breath. Broke my back and did my best to hold you through the shakes. But it's hard to keep floating on. You're taking in water at crazy speed. How can I get to the shore on time if you won't keep afloat? My heart was never much on games, let alone the ones you play. I've only got one and it's already broken, so why you want to throw it around? I wish I had the strength to go, but it's a long and hateful road. And I just now got to feeling at home and the frost you put on me. Where are we gonna go when the dam breaks loose and a white line fever gets a hold of you? How we gonna make it to higher ground if you won't get up and leave? And it's hard to keep floating on a foundered dream. You're taking in water at crazy speed. How can I get to the shore on time if you won't keep floating? You can go to hell, my dear. Probably like it better there. man's curve gonna lay them down. You remind me of a Sunday back home in old Kentucky, with the church choirs just belting to the pines. And I love you like the mountains, loves the way the morning opens, too soft and bright, greeting from the sun. So if it make you stay, I wouldn't act so angry all the time. I wouldn't keep it all inside, and I'd let you know how much I loved you every day. So darling, will you stay right here and shake this frost off of my bones? Well, I used to ride a Mustang, and I'd run that thing on high hopes, till they raised the price of dreams so high I couldn't. So I let that car just sit there when I should have took you driving, windows down while the music played. So if it make you stay, I wouldn't act so angry all the time. I wouldn't keep it all inside, and I'd let you know how much I loved you every day. So darling, will you stay right here? Shake this frost off of my bones. Darling, will you stay right here? Shake this frost off of my bones. White House Road. Early in the morning when the sun does rise, laying in the bed with bloodshot eyes. Late in the evening when the sun sinks low, that's about the time my rooster crows. I got women up and down this creek, and keep me going and my engine clean. Run me ragged but I don't fret, 'cause there ain't been one slow me down none yet. Get me drinking that moonshine, get me higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall, throw them in the river and get your fill. We've been sniffing that cocaine, ain't nothing better when the wind cuts cold. Lord, it's a mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads. I got people try to tell me, Red, keep this living and you wind up dead. cast your troubles on the Lord of Lords. Wind up laying on a cooling board. But I got buddies up White House Road, and keep me strutting when my feet hang low. Rock gut whiskey gonna ease my pain, and all this running's gonna keep me sane. Get me drinking that moonshine, get me higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall, throw them in the river and get your fill. We've been sniffing that cocaine, ain't nothing better when the wind cuts cold. Lord, it's mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads. It's a damn good feeling to run these roads. When you lay me in the cold hard clay, won't you sing them hymns while the banjo plays? You can tell them ladies that they ought not frown, 'cause there ain't been nothing ever held me down. Lawmen, women, or shallow grave, same old blues, just a different day. Get me drinking that moonshine, get me higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall, throw them in the river and get your fill. We've been sniffing that cocaine, ain't nothing better when the wind cuts cold. Lord, it's a mighty hard living, but a damn.
Extremely competitive drive, and I think this top 5 is incredibly tough. Top 4 especially is very, very hard. I think when you get to this top 2, it just really comes down to personal preference, and I don't think these kids in here made any just massive, fundamentally wrong mistakes, and just in terms of showmanship. I guess for me, this young lady just the best job of getting that calf's head up and making it look just a little bit sharper from the side. And again, it's real small details that make the difference between first and second. And absolutely, you could argue several of these kids could have won if you were judging that day. And I don't have a whole lot of argument because I think it's tough. I think you could go different ways. For me, I think her style, just in terms of getting the legs in the right spot, then getting that head kind of jacked up and making her look sharp from the side, I think that's why she wins for me. I think the young man did a very, very, very solid job. The legs were always in the right spot. The top line stayed level. You could tell he's worked his tail off with the calf because he comes in and he stands still. From the side, I wish he could get the calf's head up just a little bit more, maybe compared to the one that wins, but that's being extremely critical. That's almost splitting hairs. Again, a different strokes for different folks. I could definitely see that kid winning because he worked his tail off and did very, very good job. Young lady in third did a nice job as well. We got down towards the end. I think kind of that the calf, like she said, I went and asked the top 4 or 5 what they would change about their calf, and like she said, she wants to change the structure. The structure isn't perfect, and because of that, his top line doesn't fit together the smoothest. And kind of a couple times there, we had a kind of top line fall out and maybe didn't get it all put together quite as quickly as I deem ideal. And again, when you get to this level, when you get to this depth and this talent level in the ring at one time, that is a fine small details in my estimation that makes a difference between second and third. When it comes in fourth, that young man, you can tell he has worked his tail off with that steer. He comes in and that thing stands like a dadgum statue. He doesn't move. He almost has to touch the steer just to make sure he's still breathing because he comes in and he plants his legs and he don't move. The young man has worked so hard with that from the side, like the young man in second. maybe to a worse degree, that steer never really wants to kind of get his head up. I wish we could get that head up just a little bit higher. That's going to make him look that much better from the side. Maybe he needs to drop his spine a little bit when you get his head up. That'd probably maybe his belly come down too and make him look just a nickel sharper too. But again, that's just very, very small details. This young lady put a halter on this young bull calf this morning. And if you can put a halter on a calf like that and get it halfway presented, you have my respect, because I couldn't do that. I'm very, very, very impressed, young lady. We got down to the top 5 or 6 there. Little guy kind of want to start acting up a little bit, and that's why we got you pulled over here. I talked to each one of these kiddos again individually about things I liked and didn't like about their showmanship styles. This young lady's eye contact is perhaps the best out of anybody we've seen show in any species. Her eye contact is amazing. With that, though, it doesn't matter how much you're looking at me. If we don't get those back legs right, I'm not real fond of that. I know it's being really, really petty and really, really particular. But when you get to this level, like I keep saying, when it's this good, this deep, and this many good kids, it's small details that makes a difference. Really, really good kids in this lineup. I'm not going to talk them all individually. Let's give all these seniors a big round of applause for their efforts.
Congratulations to Kirsten Wagner in first place for senior showmanship from East County Grange. Oh, sorry, my papers are blowing everywhere. We have Tatanka Adebert from Ramona FFA in second place. Jennifer Parker from Ramona FFA in third place. Forrest Sissons from Ramona FFA in fifth place. Kiara Conine from 56 Ranchers 4-H in fifth place. Morgan Nelson from Ramona FFA in sixth place. Haley Simons from Ramona FFA in seventh place. And Matthew Parker from Ramona FFA in eighth place. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is our heat of intermediate beef showmen. We have 5 entries with Blake Sheppy from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, Chloe May Hawkins from Ramona FFA, Mason Stanley from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H, Peyton Scott from Ramona Wranglers 4-H, and Sam Edmonston from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H.
was blowing down and the grass was laying low. Catholic girl, pray for me, you're my only hope for heaven. My boy, I drink and love and smoke and snort my fill. But all the while, I'm having trouble hearing you. Pray for me. Roots of the oak and rib cage. Praying if I can play. Lord knows that I will fondly pray for you. High on the hill with parks was blowing down and the grass was laying low. Catholic girl, pray for me, you're my only hope for heaven. My boy, I drink and love and smoke and snort my fill. But all the while, I kept in mind the Lord's redeemed days. High on the hill with parks was blowing down in the city where the heathen go. Catholic girl, pray for me, you're my only hope for heaven. You reckon he lets free will boys walk around in purgatory? I know that hell is just as real as I'm surely breathing. But I've heard tales of a middle ground I think will work for me.
Solid class of intermediates, and I thought the top pair was pretty dicey. When I got down to it, I kind of moved them up again, and the young lady I think is just a little bit more efficient about getting that calf walked into a stop and getting him set up properly. Not to say the young man does a bad job by any means. I think for me the difference is as you walk him into a stop, the young man's got to be just a little bit more active with his stick there to get the legs in the right spot and get everything worked out. And I'm not saying either one of them do a bad job because they're both real good, just way different in terms of how they get them done. For me, the young lady's a little bit more fluid, a little bit more effortless. Young man's got to work just a little bit harder, but does just as good of a job. A young man coming in third did a solid job as well. And I talked to each one of these three kiddos individually about things I like, whether it's the way you're moving the halter, the way you're swapping sides in the front, things like that. You know, the little details add up a whole lot when it comes to showmanship and in life for that matter. So remember to continue to work and continue to never give up and continue to always try to get better every single time you come in the ring, and good things will be in your future. Congratulations to all these kids. Let's give them one more hand if you would.
Congratulations to our intermediate beef showman. In first place, Paige Scott, Ramona Wranglers 4-H. Second place, Mason Stanley, Santa Isabel Julian 4-H. Blake Sheppy, Santa Isabel Julian 4-H in third. In fourth, Sam Edmonston from Santa Isabel Julian 4-H. And in fifth place, Chloe May Hawkins from Ramona FFA. Entering the ring now is our junior beef showman. We have Cameron Martineau, Ramona Wranglers 4-H, Liam Wolf, Ramona Wranglers 4-H, and Maya Contreras, Ramona Paisanos. I have to apologize. I did not introduce our judge earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. We have Denton Lowe out of Decatur, Texas. He earned his Associates of Science in Agriculture Economics from the Redlands Community College in El Reno, Oklahoma, where he was on the livestock judging team and was fortunate to be named the 2015 All-American Livestock Judge. After he received his Bachelor's of Science in Animal Science from Texas A&M University, where he was on the livestock judging team that won the American Royal. Denton's family and himself own and operate Low Livestock, a club-lamb operation in central Oklahoma consisting of around 40 Hampshire Cross and Southdown ewes. Denton has been fortunate to judge shows in 17 states, including sheep in the Wisconsin State Fair, breeding goats, and the State Fair of Texas, and showmanship at the National Western in Denver and Kansas State Fair. Denton is the feed sales manager for the National Roper Supply in Decatur, Texas, and is in his free time, he enjoys coaching the county 4-H livestock judging team and playing golf. Please give our judge Denton Lowe a hand for sticking out here with the heat and doing a fantastic job. Okay, sorry, I'm reading a Bible on the judge. Okay, so where do you want to? Okay. Okay. It's like an hour. An hour. Okay. What did you say? 1441 Main Street? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ooh. So what do you recommend? Okay. Okay. So let me get a hold of Victoria. She's over there with her kids. So I will come over, have her come over here. So you think the 1441 Main Street, that's not a good option? Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. So I will tell her that that's probably her best option to on 7 or 9. Okay, that's it. Side. Okay. Okay. That works. Right. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Amy. Bye. Okay. So he talked to them, and your best option is to pick them up in Oceanside tonight at the station. So you told them, or you got them to stay till like 9 p.m. So something you can do for that. Yes. Because he said that because they're saying that there's been 4 attempts on the package that he's like, I'm really concerned they're not going to put it on the truck tomorrow. And so he said like it's a 70% chance that if we like even send it to like a pool location that they're going to give it to us because obviously they're like not doing their job. Yeah. Okay. So he said that if we want
really nice set of junior showmen here, and only 3 of them, and I think that's just shows there's a big opportunity to continue to grow. Not only just the cattle show side, but any species really in the junior age division. I think there's a big opportunity for young showmen in this county, in this area, in this state to get more actively involved in this program. We all know the benefits of it. We'll talk about that more in depth later. But at the end of the day, I think there's 3 really good showmen. They all have big futures ahead of them. There's a lot of differences in terms of their showmanship styles. Young man, I guess first he came in there in a class earlier and showed the steer, and I don't know if he got in a hole or what the heck happened, but I made a comment that the steer kind of showed like a dog out here, and I want to publicly apologize to that young man because he's doing a heck of a lot better job now. He's got the legs in the right spot. It makes his shoulder kind of put back together a little bit, makes that steer a heck of a lot better looking now than he did earlier, and hats off to him. In this lineup, he was the best as far as leg placement. He knew when to swap sides when I walked to the front of him. He was the most advanced. He knew what was going on whenever I was walking around him, and for those reasons, he needs to go ahead and win. The young lady, like I told her, we came in earlier with that heifer, and maybe things didn't go as planned when we were exiting the arena, and I gave her a big kudos to her because, hey, she got back in here and she gave it another shot, and she did a heck of a lot better job now than she did earlier. And that's not picking on her. That's a word of encouragement because I told her if you can continually get better every time you come in the ring, good things are certainly in your future. In this lineup, I wanted to get her hind legs just a little bit more accurately placed on that heifer, and if we do that, I think that pair of showman becomes an absolute horse race. The young man coming in third here didn't do a bad job by any means. Like I told him, that old steer just didn't really want to cooperate real well for him, kind of want to act like a knucklehead. But that's part of the game. Continue to work at home. The harder you work, the luckier you get, and then that's more than just a show ring. That's life, young man. Again, a big word of encouragement to all these kids. They did a very, very good job. Let's give all of them a big round of applause. What a steer show. Let's give them all a big hand, if you would.
Congratulations to Cameron Martineau, Ramona Wranglers 4-H in first place. Maya Contreras, Ramona Paisanos 4-H in second place, and Liam Wolf from Ramona Wranglers 4-H in third place. And that is a conclusion of our beef show. We will be doing the Grand Champion Drive tonight at 7 p.m. We encourage everyone to come by, check it out, and support the kids.